There's this horror story that's been absolutely blowing up online. It's one of those chilling tales that really gets under your skin, tapping into that old fear we all have of things, objects that aren't quite what they seem. The story is all about a modern toy that might just be a doorway for something ancient and unbelievably evil. Okay, let's get into it.
So, right off the bat, I have to ask you something. Can a toy, a cute little collectible doll, actually kill you? I know, it sounds insane, but in the story we're about to unpack, the answer is, well, it's terrifyingly real. All right, so where does this all start? Well, like a lot of truly creepy stories, it begins with something completely normal. Just an innocent purchase. A toy collector finds the perfect, unique little doll and has no idea she's just bought a one-way ticket to a nightmare. So let's meet our main character, Min. She is living in Shanghai, and she actually works in a toy shop, which is pretty perfect since she's a huge collector of unique dolls. One day, this new limited edition line of laboo dolls comes in, and they sell out in a flash. But Min, she gets one, and hers is special. It's a one-of-a-kind golden color, a real collector's dream. And honestly, you can see why she wanted it. With those big blue eyes and soft golden fur, it was just irresistibly cute. But that adorable little smile, yeah, that's not gonna last. Not at all.
So now we get to the part where things start to go wrong. The charm of this new doll starts to fade, and it happens pretty fast, revealing something much, much darker underneath.
The first real red flag comes from her dog, Bao. Now, usually he's totally fine with her dolls, but this one, he just growls and barks at it super aggressively. You know what they say about an animal's instinct, right? Well, soon after that, Min, who's normally really calm, has this wild burst of anger at her job and gets fired. Then she starts hearing weird laughter in her apartment, and when she goes to look, the doll is on the floor, not on the shelf where she left it. And this is when it really starts to get into her head. That very same night, she has this unbelievably vivid nightmare. She dreams of this grotesque, decaying red creature with these long, sharp claws, and it's trying to strangle her while letting out this awful, chilling laugh. She wakes up screaming, heart pounding, but the nightmare isn't over. In fact, what she finds when she opens her eyes is way worse than any dream. We're officially past the point of no return now. The horror is about to get very, very real. She's still screaming from the nightmare, and she looks down to find the golden laboo doll just sitting there. On her chest, there's absolutely no way it should be there. Her screams bring her dog, Bao, running in. He sees the doll and just goes for it, tearing the thing to shreds, and for a second, just a split second, you'd think it's over. Relief. But the next morning is just a rapid-fire horror show. At 8 a.m., she wakes up with this killer headache, and she's covered in these weird red spots, almost like little bites. 5 minutes later, she realizes Bao is nowhere to be found. Then, at 8:10 a.m., she walks into her bathroom and sees it. The laboon doll, sitting on a shelf, perfectly new, not a scratch on it. But it's not just back in one piece. It's changed. That cute little smile it had before, now it's this terrifying, mocking grin. And its hands, and its little smiling teeth, they are stained with something red, something fresh. And this is probably the most awful, gut-wrenching part of the whole story. With this horrible feeling, she looks under her kitchen sink, and she finds him. Bao. He'd been viciously killed. This isn't just a spooky doll anymore. This is a violent, murderous thing. So you have to wonder, was Min just incredibly unlucky? Was this a one-off thing? Well, the story gets even bigger from here, because it turns out this might not be an isolated incident at all. It might be an unstoppable curse. In total, desperate panic, Min does what any of us would do. She gets online. And what she finds is absolutely chilling. She's not alone. There are stories coming in from all over the world about these dolls. People claiming their dolls are biting them, others linking them to suddenly losing their jobs or coming down with these mysterious illnesses, and even the deaths of people they love. It's a global pattern of tragedy. So now she knows what she's dealing with. She has to destroy it.
And she does everything right. She takes the doll outside, she burns it until there's literally nothing left but a pile of ash. Then she scoops up the ashes, seals them in a glass jar, and throws the whole thing into a river. I mean, that's gotta be it, right? End of story? And for one day, it was. For one single day, it seemed to have worked. She felt safe. She actually called her sister, feeling this huge wave of relief, truly believing the nightmare was over for good. But it wasn't over. That feeling of safety was a lie. The curse was never broken. And this brings us to the final, horrifying chapter of this story, and a terrifying theory about what this thing really is. The very next morning, after that one single day of peace, Mean was found dead in her home. Just like that. But that's not even the most shocking part. Lying right there next to her body, looking perfectly clean, perfectly new, like it had just been taken out of the box, was the golden laboo doll. It was back. The curse was absolute.
So what in the world is going on here? How is this even possible? Well, the story points to a theory that's been making rounds online. Some people speculate that this isn't about the doll at all. They believe the doll is just a vessel, a modern-day host for something called Pazuzu, an incredibly ancient and powerful demon from Mesopotamian mythology.
And that's where this story leaves us, with this really chilling question. Is the laboo doll really a vessel for some ancient evil that's found a new way to haunt our world? Or is this all just a terrifying urban legend that is completely spun out of control? The story doesn't give us an answer, leaving you to decide which possibility is more frightening.